I'm Steve Morris, Steve Morris Engines. I thought I'd do something a little bit different that I've never done before, and that is an actual teardown video of Tom Bailey's record-setting first engine, first car to ever go 599 on drag week. Did it on the last day, the last pass, after doing all the drive, after doing everything. Then never did anything with the car, never did anything with the engine. Just came back, went down to Florida with it, went 588 at 252 I think it was, and then went back out, went 577 at 260 mile an hour. All at only 58 pounds of boost. Sounds like a lot to you guys, some of you guys, but it's nothing. Especially when these things will take closer to 80, 90 pounds of boost if I really wanted to put it there. Maybe we'll get there someday. But anyways, I thought you'd find it really interesting to do an actual teardown. This is how he just took it out of the car. In fact, you can tell this thing's dirty, filthy, but that's the way they always come out of the car after they do all that driving on the road. There's so much road grime and all sorts of crap on it. So anyways, we're gonna do a time-lapse video. I'm gonna show you tearing this thing all apart and show you what this thing looks like after it's done all of that. One drag week, set the records, gone back down. Oh, even went to McDonald's after it went 577. Threw the chutes in the car, in the passenger side, took off down the road after going 577. Drove it down to McDonald's, got lunch, came back. So anyways, we're gonna time lapse this thing up. I'm gonna show you all about it and what everything looks like after you tear it apart. Alright, so now let's go over and take a look at the bearings. All look really good. right, now we're all apart. So as you can see, bearings all look pretty good. It's interesting little discoloration on here. There's nothing wrong with the bearing, but there's a little discoloration on 2 and 4. So I'll check that out and see what's going on. But you can see that the we did get a bunch of condensation from this thing sitting down in freaking Florida with and it rusted. We never evacuated the pan with all the methanol and all the humidity down there. We never did any evacuation on there. So down in the crankcase, it looks like it got a little bit of discoloration from rust. And we'd seen that in the valve springs prior. But this is the crankshaft. You can see everything looks good. I mean, haven't even cleaned it up or wiped it up. So it still has all the oil on it. That's the cap side of the bearings. That's what's interesting about the block side of the bearing being a little bit different color. You can see those look good. Connecting rod bearings. Pistons. All look very good. Now show you these head gaskets. Super pleased with the head gasket on it. All our rocker arms, all the valve train looks really nice through there. I'll show you a couple things on the intake on the lifters though. I can see here these have all the drag week on it, and all the record setting passes, and all the times jerking around with it, doing burnouts for Cletus McFarlane at his track, and excuse me, all that kind of stuff. Camshaft looks good, except for let's see here. That lobe's fine. Actually, camshaft actually does look good. There's just a little bit of oil discoloration right through there. These are a tool steel 65 millimeter camshaft. As you can see, cylinder heads. Move this. Cylinder heads. I'll go through and look at all the valve springs and guides and all that other stuff and see where we're at with them. But like I said, we did have a the first time we let it set down there, and after the 577 pass, came back, let it set for a few weeks, and the springs were just completely covered in rust, and it damaged. Well, we had broken a couple springs right after the rust. I mean, they were rusted up hard and pitted. Made a pass, came back, and broke a couple valve springs. And when we did that, it blew up one lifter. And I see that it has damaged a couple other lifters. A couple others just don't roll real well. And pulling them out of the lifter bore, a little bit tight pulling them out, which means that this area right here gets a little wide from getting swedged out, but that's mainly because we broke, I think we broke 3 valve springs, and I think it was all just solely from that rust. So we put these new valve springs on it, and been making other passes on it, those other couple, or for that next test session, and just couldn't get the thing sorted out. Track wasn't nearly as good. So Tom did a bunch of burnouts and driving and all sorts of silly stuff, and now it's back here finally. And after the COVID deal, being locked down, couldn't get it to go pick it up, so now he's got it up here and tore it all out, and now we got this thing all apart. But I mean, the hoops look great, gaskets, chambers, everything looks really nice through there. I'll tear these apart and we'll just freshen up the valve job. These things get new valves, new pistons and rods, and that's just because obviously the crankshaft's fine. Block looks great, super happy with the block. You can see you know, our cross-bolted, I'm sorry, not cross-bolted, I don't do cross-bolted, do a splayed cap all through there. Everything looks really good. I'm pretty happy with the way this thing looks, and this is a real minimum freshen up deal to put this all back in and get this all going and sorted out for this year's drag week. So anyways, I'm Steve Morris. Steve Morris Engines. Have a great day.